Well, somebody had to win. And in this case, it was the Warriors. Pretty ugly, but they'll take it. Say that with a 10-point margin here. They were up by as many as 21, gave it all the way. Curry. And this is crazy that he ended up with 31. He did it after really struggling most of the night once again from three, but ended up with 7 threes, 113-103. The NBA champ Brendan Hay with 3D. Dennis Scott, I'm Jared Greenberg. We're going to wrap up the entire 12-game night here. Still one game happening, and that is Phoenix and Detroit. We'll take you out there in a moment. But I just want to get into these two teams because I think these are two of the bigger storylines right now in the NBA. What's the bigger takeaway here? That the Warriors were able to bounce back after getting demolished by 51 the other night, gave away a 21-point lead, or is it the fact that this Minnesota offense looks broken? What's the bigger storyline right now?
Bigger story is Minnesota. We have higher expectations.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think that Golden State at the beginning of the year kind of exceeded our expectations, and now they're kind of coming back to earth. Mm-hmm. We saw what Minnesota did last year. We saw the run that they went on, Western Conference Finals. Okay, we knew they made a big-time trade, but we were like, hey, Ant-Man, ascending star. You still got Nas Reed, the rest of those pieces. You brought in another good player in Julius Randle, had a really good draft. We thought this Minnesota team would be a little bit better, and their calling card would be defense, but it's been kind of up and down.
Up and down, but your whole complexion of your team changes off of one trade. And you're saying that the guy that left didn't give you what you needed, and you brought in a different style of guy. That's my problem. Like, Julius Randle's Julius Randle.
Right.
Cat's cat. So why did you think your defense was going to get better bringing in a guy that doesn't play a lot of great defense, the guy that just left?
Hey, man.
You see what I'm saying? So that's the part that, just like we were talking about the Lakers earlier, how do you expect the Lakers to get back? You brought back the same exact team outside of the rookie, Dalton Knecht. Well, it's the same thing here in Minnesota. You had a great team, great defense, and you got close, and then tell the fans Jan's point. At the end of Cat's deal, there's a big old payday of $62 million, and with so much going on in Minnesota, they didn't want to be in that financial crisis. Okay. So we get that part. So don't complain about why your team had the same defense. Be worried about the finances.
To me, the issue is not even the defense. The issue is the offense right now.
Yes, but your offense is bad because you can't stop nobody. At least last year you were stopping people so your offense could be good enough to get you to how far you got. Now you're at, 10th spot now? Or no, you're fighting for the 8th spot right now.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with both of you guys. I believe that obviously the defense isn't quite as good. And then offensively, some nights they don't look like they have an identity. Yeah. They don't look like they know. The best teams in this, I can tell you this, from playing on championship level teams, all championship level teams have an identity. They don't have to have the same identity, but you have to have an identity. Hey, this is our style of play. These are the certain plays that we run in these situations. These are the guys that we go to in these situations, and this is what it is. Okay, we see you're trying to shoot more threes this year with Anthony Edwards, and he's shooting a great percentage.
Yeah.
You're trying to figure out how to get the Julius Randle trade thing to work overall as a whole, how to get the young guys going off the bench. You're just trying to figure out what the offense is going to be, and I'm just not sure their identity can be Anthony Edwards just chucking up a bunch of threes, even though he's hitting a good percentage. I just don't know if that's what the identity of this team can be, and only that.
If he continues to shoot all these threes, the opposing defense, the wing guys are like, phew. Hey, we don't have that. We don't have this beast coming down and attacking us all game long.
Hey, so good question, right? Not good statement. He's not attacking all game long, but the analytics bros are going to say, but he's shooting 42% 3D. Talk to me about what the not driving to the basket means to the game.
Analytic people, you understand with Ant-Man being so dynamic. Yes, you get more threes when no one else is touching the ball. There's no ball movement. The ball's not giving the team energy. And you wonder why you're not stopping nobody? Because nobody wants to play defense because they're not touching the ball on the offensive end. So now you're asking all the rest of these guys to play defense, never touch the ball, and there's no really offensive continuity. Ant-Man goes out the game, what happened? They come back by 21, right? Is the ball hopping differently? The ball's moving differently? Guys are sharing the ball? Then guess what? They want to play a little bit more defense.
But let me ask you this, both of you. You move on from Cat, and when we all, let's call a spade, you said it. It was not a basketball move, it was a financial move.
Correct.
You bring in a guy like Julius Randle, who's an incredibly talented offensive player, but he is dramatically 180 degrees different than Karl Anthony Towns in terms of how he scores. So now you've got a mid-range guy in Julius Randle. You've got Rudy Gobert, who's not going not going to run plays for him. Don't you have to take somebody out of the paint? Don't you have to spread the floor somehow? Cat used to give them that ability, Brendan, to spread the floor. Now with Randall and Gobert, who's spreading the floor?
Nobody. Nobody. And we see, let's look at the flip side. We see what Karl-Anthony Towns is doing for the Knicks from an offensive standpoint as far as floor spacing. Creating space with his shooting ability. He's raising the defense. Now that 4 or 5 man can't be in the paint, has to be all the way at the top of the key in those situations. You can run action behind those guys and you get a lot of easy shots. On the flip side for Minnesota, it's a little bit different from an offensive standpoint. You know, Julius is not really a shooter. He's more of a mid-range guy, jab step, ball holder. Rudy, not really an offensive guy. And what's going to happen is this. If they do make the playoffs, when they get into the playoffs, the really good teams are going to say, you know what? Boxes and elbows on Anthony Edwards. We're going to lock that down. We're going to live with all those shots on the weak side because you now have 2 non-shooters on the court. And in today's game, it's really hard to win with 2 non-shooters in your starting lineup from the 3-point line.
And then poor Jaden McDaniels, we give that young man a lot of credit, but how you asked him to play all this defense and how many shots did he get tonight? Well, 5 or 6 shots? So, but I would like to, of those 12 shots, how many of those shots were really in the flow of the offense for him versus 9-1-1 shot clock type shots where he had to get a big steal or block and go down and create for himself. And he's supposed to be one of those guys you should be able to run something through certain nights to take some pressure off some of them guys.
Yeah. The other part of it here too is, and this is unfortunate because we all love him, Mike Conley's having the worst year of his career.
He's a little older now. He's getting a little longer too.
Love Mike, but you get a little older. Get a little older,
and
baby.
They've got a rookie that they drafted in the first round, Rob Dillingham, who people have a lot of high hopes for, but teams that expect to contend for championships don't want a rookie playing big minutes at point guard.
He's not quite ready yet. He has his moments, but he's not quite ready.
So I guess the question is, and you know, Nickeil Alexander's having the best year of his career, but does this team need to go get somebody that can help facilitate more offense?
I don't know, Jared, if there's someone, because we already know what their situation is. So what part of the roster can you tweak? Can you go find a savvy vet to plug and play to kind of settle things a little bit like Mike Conley was doing, but obviously getting a little bit older? I don't know if there's a guy I can think of right now you can go get.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's a guy that makes sense for this team, for what they have, what they have to give up. I'm not sure if there's a guy that you can say, oh yeah, this guy's going to come in and the ball's going to move and he's going to be able to do certain things and help us out offensively that they can afford to go get. I'm not sure about that.
Malcolm Brogdon and Wash. No, there's no, I can't think of nobody right now off the top of my head that can really go help plug and play.
Be interesting to watch.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rough year for.
You know they say, hey man, they say you never miss a good thing till it's gone.
That's right.
And,
That's right.
Karl-Anthony, they didn't appreciate him.
Again, the number.
Now they want that old thing back.
I gave you the number on the TNT broadcast the other night. Gobert, Anthony Edwards, and Cat would have cost them more than $135 million this year.
Wow.
At least that store was open though.
You know they say sometimes you gotta pay to play.
One more still to finish up. We'll tell you what's going on with the Pistons and Suns as you continue to watch Game Time presented by Kia.
Dub Nation, trade rumors have been swirling about the Golden State Warriors, particularly focused on their multi-champion center Kevin Looney. As the rumors gain momentum, several teams are reportedly showing interest in Looney, while the Warriors themselves are evaluating the state of their frontcourt. Could this spell the end of Looney's tenure with Golden State? Or is the team exploring ways to reshape its rotation to remain competitive in the increasingly challenging Western Conference? Let's break down the latest developments. Golden State's veteran center Kevin Looney is at the center of trade discussions, drawing interest from several teams around the league. Reports suggest the Warriors are reevaluating their frontcourt strategy, especially after acquiring Dennis Schroeder to bolster their offensive depth. According to NBA insider Jake Fisher, while head coach Steve Kerr values Looney's contributions highly, the center's availability has sparked interest from potential suitors, prompting Golden State to consider its options. Looney's role in the Warriors' success cannot be understated. Known for his rebounding tenacity, defensive acumen, and ability to execute within the team's system, Looney has been a vital cog in Golden State's system. However, the lack of true size and depth at the center position has been a recurring concern, particularly when facing teams with dominant players in the paint. This has reignited discussions about the need for significant changes to the Warriors roster. The Warriors' struggles in the paint have been a glaring issue this season. The team currently lacks a player taller than 7 feet who can consistently deliver impactful minutes. While Looney has been a reliable presence, his limited offensive range and lack of vertical explosiveness have left Golden State vulnerable against bigger, more athletic opponents. Tracy Jackson-Davis, in his second year, has shown flashes of potential but has yet to establish himself as a reliable starter. Draymond Green's versatility remains an asset, but asking him to anchor the center position for extended periods has its limitations. Statistically, Looney continues to be a solid contributor, excelling in rebounding and defensive metrics. However, his offensive limitations contrast sharply with the dynamic skill sets of other centers in the league. This has left the Warriors at a crossroads. Should they bolster their current rotation or look for a game-changing piece to solidify their paint? Here are Golden State's potential trade targets should the Warriors opt to pursue a trade. Several players could address their needs and address their weaknesses in the paint. Jonas Valanciunas, the Washington Wizards center, is known for his rebounding, post-scoring, and physicality. As a constant double-double threat, Valanciunas could provide the Warriors with much-needed size and interior presence. While his three-point shooting has regressed, his mid-range game and toughness would be invaluable additions to Golden State's roster. Nikola Vucevic, a versatile offensive weapon, Vucevic is averaging 21 points and 10 rebounds per game and shooting nearly 48% from three-point range this season. His ability to space the floor and contribute in the post makes him an ideal fit for the Warriors system. However, his defensive limitations and high $20 million annual salary present challenges. Acquiring Vucevic would likely require a substantial trade package involving Looney and other assets. Jakob Poole. For fans of traditional centers, Jakob Poole looms as a prime candidate. The Toronto Raptors center is averaging 15.5 points, 11 rebounds, and nearly 2 blocks per game, excelling at protecting the rim and scoring efficiently. Poole's ability to dominate the paint on both ends of the floor and his underrated passing skills would make him a perfect addition to Golden State's bustling offense. Golden State should tread carefully when considering any trade for Looney. His championship experience, deep understanding of the system, and leadership qualities make him a unique asset. At the same time, the Warriors cannot ignore their current struggles against elite centers like Nikola Jokic, Anthony Davis, and Chet Holmgren. With the recent 2-8 stretch exposing their vulnerabilities, bolstering the center position is no longer a luxury, but a necessity. The Warriors' decision will have lasting implications for their playoff aspirations and beyond. Should they make a high-impact trade to address their paint woes or rely on Looney's experience and Jackson-Davis potential? Each path carries risks and rewards that will shape the team's trajectory in the highly competitive Western Conference. As the trade deadline approaches, the Warriors face crucial choices that will determine their fortunes this season. Whether you're a staunch supporter of Kevin Looney or a proponent of bringing in new talent, your perspective matters. Golden State's front office has tough decisions ahead of it, but one thing is clear: addressing their paint weaknesses is essential if they hope to compete for another championship. The Warriors' paint remains a critical area of concern. Struggles against dominant centers and rebounding shortcomings, as evidenced in their recent loss to the Dallas Mavericks, highlight the need for reinforcements. Rather than pursuing small forwards or point guards, targeting a traditional center could be a more effective strategy. Players like Jonas Valanciunas or Jakob Poole could solve these issues while also fitting seamlessly into the Warriors system. Acquiring Jonas Valanciunas is an enticing prospect, and the financial and strategic risks make it a no-brainer for the Golden State Warriors. Whether it's targeting a secondary trade candidate or acquiring a dominant center, Golden State's next moves will play a crucial role in defining their championship aspirations. With the trade deadline approaching, the Warriors will need to carefully evaluate their options. Recently signed players like Jonas Valanciunas will be eligible for trade after today, which could increase the potential for trade action. The decision to keep or trade Kuminga will be crucial to the team's future. Meanwhile, securing Wiggins' health and rehabilitating Moody's confidence could be equally important to the team's ambitions. Regardless of the picks, the next month will be crucial in determining whether the Warriors remain title contenders or face a transitional season. What do you think? Should the Warriors pursue Jonas Valanciunas, Jakob Poole, or someone else? Hello Dub Nation, the Golden State Warriors may be making a big move in the trade market given their up and down season. After a promising start to the 2024-25 season, the team has struggled with consistency in its play, which begs the question, are Mike Dunleavy Jr., Joe Lacob, and Steve Kerr planning a high-impact trade? Let's take a look at that possibility and explore some recent challenges the team has faced, including injury concerns. We'll also discuss the future of players like Jonathan Kuminga and the implications of potential roster changes. Last week, NBA insider Shams Charania told ESPN that the Warriors are in a real search for a star to join Stephen Curry and Draymond Green. Charania recalled the team's attempts last offseason to acquire players like Lauri Markkanen from the Utah Jazz and Paul George from the Los Angeles Clippers. The main question, according to Shams, is whether the Warriors will find that piece outside of their current roster or whether Jonathan Kuminga could be that internal solution. Kuminga, who recently had a standout performance with 33 points against the Houston Rockets, remains a central figure in discussions about the team's future. Despite Kuminga's potential, his relationship with Steve Kerr has been the subject of speculation. The coach has mentioned that the team is trying to maximize Jonathan Kuminga, but the general perception is that the Warriors are looking to increase his market value for a possible trade. This makes sense considering that Kuminga has yet to establish himself as a key player in the team's offensive and defensive systems, especially alongside Curry and Green. Since the start of the season, the Warriors have experimented with different lineups, including returning Kuminga to the starting lineup. However, statistics show that his performance as a starter is virtually identical to his performance off the bench, suggesting that his impact does not vary significantly with court time or role. That raises questions about how well they can adapt to Kerr's dynamic system, which prioritizes spacing and movement off the ball. If the Warriors are serious about competing for a title this season, they need to make bold and quick decisions. Acquiring a proven star like Jimmy Butler or Brandon Ingram could transform the team, but those moves also require sacrificing valuable assets like Kuminga and potentially other young talent or draft picks. Another issue complicating the Warriors' situation is the ongoing injury crisis. Andrew Wiggins was absent from the recent loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves due to a right ankle injury. Wiggins, one of the team's top defensive options, is essential to containing opposing stars like Anthony Edwards. His absence has forced Kerr to adjust the lineup, moving Gary Payton II to the primary defender, which has worked well but isn't a sustainable solution. In addition, Moses Moody has also dealt with knee issues that have sidelined him in a few recent games. Moody, who had been a consistent presence in the rotation, has been down in terms of stats this season compared to last year. With fewer minutes on the court and an increase in turnovers, his confidence has been shaken, further diminishing his influence on the team. Despite the adversity, the Warriors have shown flashes of brilliance. In their most recent win, Stephen Curry scored 30 points, including a stunning 15-point run in the second quarter. Draymond Green also contributed an energetic performance, including a game-winning dunk. Other players, such as Kevin Looney, have shown consistency, averaging nearly a double-double in recent games. Recently acquired Buddy Hield finally broke out of a period of inconsistency, hitting 7 three-pointers in one game. However, his history suggests that his productivity may be intermittent. With key players like Looney and Hield on expiring contracts, the Warriors have a limited window to maximize the potential of their current roster. With the trade deadline approaching, the Warriors will need to carefully evaluate their options. Recently signed players like DeAnthony Melton and Jonas Valanciunas will be eligible for trade after December 15th, which could increase the potential for trade action. The decision to keep or trade Kuminga will be crucial to the team's future. Meanwhile, securing Wiggins' health and rebuilding Moody's confidence could be equally important to the team's ambitions. Regardless of the choices, the next month will be crucial in determining whether the Warriors remain title contenders or face a transitional season. We know the Warriors are still watching the trade market and looking to make a big-time addition to the team and the NBA to capitalize on Steph Curry's final seasons, so the upcoming offseason is shaping up to be a critical time for the Golden State Warriors, who are poised to reshape the trajectory of the franchise. Will they commit to one last championship run, or will they opt for a financial restructuring? Mike Dunleavy Jr. and the front office face a daunting array of choices, leaving fans eager to learn what the team's next moves will be. The anticipation surrounding Golden State's future is intensifying. Before we wrap things up, if you're a true Warriors fan and are as excited as I am to see how these stories unfold, be sure to subscribe to the channel. After all, we're producing Warriors videos almost every day. In conclusion, the future looks uncertain for the Golden State Warriors. With the possibility of losing and adding players to the team and the various trade options available, the Warriors are well positioned to continue to be a force to be reckoned with in the NBA. Stay tuned for more updates on the Warriors, and remember to support by leaving your opinion in the comments section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications to know when I send new news. Thank you for following Gold-Blooded News. A hug and see you next time.
We're gold-blooded.
Go Dubs!